Oh, oh, Brahman, let us, please let us to see things more clearly. O Brahman, please let us to see things more clearly without poison, without gossips, and without any type of doubt in us, Brahman. Om, Om Shiva. I used to know a woman when we were living up north, when we were living up north in the state of Washington, but not in the state of meditation. Every now and then I try to bring some humor in our perception every now and then. Anyway, so we were living in the state of Washington quite a while back. I used to know a woman. You see, I have seen gullible humans. They just, as soon as they see somebody, they say ma'am or madam or sir, the person may be a culprit, the person may be a follower of Satan, but they still say, and this is where all the faith of humanity is invested now. You see, in all these small things, which don't really matter in the end, you see. And I mean, is there something wrong to call somebody ma'am, madam, or sir? Let's look into it. No, there is nothing wrong. But these are titles, in my perception, the way I look at life, these titles need to be earned, if you understand. Otherwise, I do not call every Tom, Dick, and Harry who comes in my vicinity sir or madam. No, I don't. I only call it when you earn it. So this woman, and of course I'm calling her a woman because she couldn't earn it. This woman all of a sudden started acting very distant and pulled away, from me. All of a sudden and out of nowhere. And I knew right then and there that there's something going on. Now, most of you humans here, I want to bring something very important for you so you see where you are making the mistake. Most of you humans are very egoistic. You understand the meanings of that? It means you live in a delusion. In other words, in simple English or simple words, it means that you live in a delusion, that you are something. I have told you what your reality is. I have told you what my reality is. I have told you what everyone's reality is. You live in a delusion that you live in a delusion that you are something. You see, you think of yourself high in your mind. Your reality is, nature would say poof, nobody would know where you went. You understand that or no? Nature would say poof, nobody would even know where you went, just wiped out. That's what your reality is. That's what your delusion is, your ego that you live in. Now, most of you humans live in the ego. You see, you do not live in the in I am created by sacred and created by divinity. But you basically live in your own reality, which is nothing but only in your head. You see, it's not existential reality. We have talked about that numerous times. So this most of you humans do not try to clarify, you see, because you are egoistic. You think it would that why should I go ahead and clarify? You see, I didn't do anything. This is your mind frame that you live in. And you pass on living like that and you waste a carnation from the sacred. Anyway, so most of you humans say, why should I go ahead and clarify? You don't have to get into a fight or argument, God forbid me, or any of these nasty habits that you humans have developed. in every society. You don't have to do any of that. You can just go politely to the person and you can ask them, hey, I noticed there is a sudden change. There is a sudden there is a sudden change. Sometimes I have to dummy down my accent because it's a combination of English and South Asian or specifically Indian accent from Indian subcontinent. Anyway, I'm trying to maneuver my accent as much as humanly possible so everyone can understand me. So most of you humans live in the ego. You don't have to get into a fight. Go to the person, say, "Hey, I noticed a sudden change," and that's what I do, and that's why I live in so much peace and harmony with the rest of the creation. But you don't, because you don't try to clarify. You let the poison, you let the gossip, you let the rumor build up in you. You see, and then you explode for no reason to somebody who didn't cause any of it. You see, that's how you function. I'm not even trying, I'm showing you the mirror. So, anyway, so this person, this woman, not the lady, mind you, this woman, I went to her and I politely said, hey, I noticed a sudden change in your behavior. And she told me that a follower of demon is Satan who lived on gossip. He said something uh, to me that you said about me. You see, this woman said to me that. And I said, okay, let's go to him. I literally went with that woman to this demon and I said, the reason I'm calling him a demon is not a judgment. He really was a demon. He literally, his life, the main purpose of his life was to create differences and misery among human race, and we the yogis, rishis, meditators, sannyasis, the wise people from India and all over the world, precisely and mostly from India, we stand against it. We bring humanity unity. We bring humanity peace of mind. You see, you cannot have it both ways. So he was the one who actually lived on differences and he was very miserable. Obviously, if you are spreading misery, you are miserable in the very first place. Otherwise, you cannot spread it. You have to have something in order to give, isn't it? I'm not telling you rocket science or is equal to MC square. I'm telling you common sense. Anyway, moving on. So I went, hey, buddy, did you say all this? And he said, bah, 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 bah. I said, I don't understand that. That's not even a language. Speak English. And he's like, all of a sudden, he lost his linguistics. And I looked at the woman and I said, why would you believe it? And this woman said to me a very stupid thing. And she said, well, he was saying it. And I looked at the woman and I said, if I call you a bitch, would you believe me? And she was just kind of speechless. I said, I'm asking you a question. If I call you right here a bitch, would you believe me? And she said, no. And I said, so it seems like that you just believe what you want to believe, isn't it? And she said, yeah. And I said, it's not yeah. It's look what you are doing. I came to this planet to bring clarity in your perception. That's who I am and that's who I would be. But if you mess with me, I'm the worst karma that your mother warned you about. You see, if you mess with me, if you try to create differences among humans, if you try to segregate, if you try to discriminate on the behalf of superstitions such as color, gender, and religion and all that drama. I said, this poison is already a lot in the society that we live in. You don't have to contribute. You see, I told her flat out, this is the title of this message from Secret. I have been in a state of profound samadhi for the last 3 hours, since 3 o'clock, or probably a little after 3 o'clock, because I had to nurture my body. Because when I go and commune with Sacred, when I go, it's just like Sacred and me are like husband and wife, or Sacred or divinity and me are like wife and husband, or two lovers, or two partners, So when I commune with sacred, I commune like that. So I was in a profound state of samadhi. Then awareness came to me that, son, you need to go ahead and deliver this message because it's creating a lot of confusions among humans. So first thing you gotta do when you hear something, as you can see the title of this video, first thing you gotta do when you hear something, you don't believe it or disbelieve it. Why it is necessary to believe something, isn't it? Why? I mean, what prompts you to believe something? So you can fill in the blanks in your mind, but your mind, do you think is going to be silent, is going to be quiet, is going to leave you alone after that? No, it would move on to something else. It's not the believe or disbelief thing, it's basically the nature of the mind that you have acquired. Your mind is always in a state of compulsion, and the problem is with the mind, and it's a serious problem. I would even call it a problem. It's a problem until unless you solve this problem by transcending the mind. You see, it's very simple. You can still remain in the body, you can still use mind, but only when it is needed. Okay. And you can have the kind of immense control on mind when you transcend the mind. That's what I do all the time, and I have gained a lot of power. Shh, 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 silent. My buddy, my bird buddy, is saying good morning to me. If you hear him. Anyway, so moving on. So that's that. You don't have to believe or disbelieve. You see why it is necessary to believe in something outside of yourself. You just believe yourself, isn't it? Isn't it? Don't you believe yourself? Just believe yourself. That's the most significant thing. Don't believe the religion dogma. Don't believe the fictional books. Don't believe the religious figures. Don't believe it. What is the assurance? What is the verification or evidence that it is coming from sacred and divinity? You just go in meditation and speak the sacred directly. You don't have the middleman, you know, cut the middleman loose. That's why you have become so feeble. That's why you have become so weak. Cut the middleman loose. You are as close to divine or sacred as was Lord Jesus Christ or Lord Buddha or Lord Krishna or Lord Shiva, any of these great and divine personalities. No doubt these were divine personalities. Lord Jesus Christ, Lord Buddha, Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, Lord Sri Ramakrishna, all these were divine personalities. But you are also divine personality. The only difference is they were the realized beings. That's why it is called realized beings. They realized it, and you do not realize that. You see, today I'm delivering the words of truth and wisdom from sacred, and all I can see this sky. So it's happening for a reason. Everything is happening for a reason, even when you are breathing, it's happening for a reason. When you stop breathing, it would also be happening for a reason. You see? Anyway, moving on. So do not, it's not necessary to believe. Just jump, okay, um, I believe it. You see, no, no. You don't believe, or you do not disbelieve. I tell you time to time, remember? I make you remember. You like to remember, huh? You like to remember with me. That gets you excited. So remember that you do not believe or you do not disbelieve. You see, you remain open. You believe, you still exist. You disbelieve, you still exist. You remain open, you still exist. In every situation, you are existing, isn't it? So it's not that God forbid me 1,000 times the expression of your life is going to cease whether you believe or disbelieve. You see, that's the point I'm trying to make. I hope you following me. It's not that. You just remain open. Whatever the truth is would become clear to you in the end. I promise you that. That's how I live. That's what mysticism is. Mysticism does not believe. When I was young, I was a child, I was told I'm a man. I never believed it. Then I grew up, and then I was told I belong to a certain religion. No, I didn't believe that either. That was the biggest lie. And then I grew up, I belong to a certain culture or a country or society or a certain sector, whatever the English title you want to use it, you know what I mean? And I never believed any of that. I never believed none of that, you see. And then whatever the truth was became clear to me in the end. That's how you grow. If you believe, your spiritual growth stops and you become miserable because you believe the poison. Somebody comes to you, the person is not going to tell you, hey, I don't like you. You see, the person is not going to it. But if you are focused enough, you can find that out personally, if you understand. But the problem is your focus is haywire in more than 2 seconds, you see. So try to build focus and see the immensity of yourself moving on. Somebody is not going to tell you they don't like you. You see, people keep things like that hush hush. You know what hush is? Shh. Do you want to be hushed? Shh. So that people keep it hush hush within them. They do not express that, but it express how they conduct around you. So what happens is somebody comes to you and say and tries to hook your attention towards a poison that so and so said something about yourself. You see. Now, if you believe it, you take the poison from that person. You didn't see the intention of this culprit because this person does not like you, and this person wants you to be miserable as the person is. But you didn't focus on the intention. You just jump into that belief just because the person is saying that. You see, I mean, this is morning time. It's overcast as usual, but this is morning time. September is just right around the corner. So we are heading towards that kind of season anyway. So it's morning time. If I say this is night, you see, would you believe me? No, because the evidence is going against it. Just like that, when somebody tells you something, you do not believe it and you look for the evidence of it. It's very simple. Evidence, look for the evidence. If you can find the evidence, leave it alone. You whether know something or you do not know. There is no way in between. You are not going to make it up and fill the blanks. You don't do that. Otherwise, you can never grow spiritually. You would always remain trapped in one carnation. You understand? Anyway, so these things are very significant for you to know. Do not believe or disbelieve what they say in India. There is her story and there is my story and there is true story. Did you hear that? Let the plane pass. I wish you safe travel, whoever you are. I wish you safe travel and peace. There is her story, there is my story, and there is true story. Back in India, we say that, you see, or there is your truth, and there is my truth, and there is the truth. That's what I believe, you see. It just depends who you are asking, you see. If two people got separated, you ask either one of them, they would give you a different story because they believe what they want to believe. That's why I don't do that, and I live in peace, unity, and harmony all the time. You see. Anyway, moving on. So do not believe or disbelieve. Listen to it. Don't believe or disbelieve. If you cannot find the truth, if you look at the evidence, you cannot find the truth. You leave it. You leave it. You move on. You just don't linger on it. No, I gotta find this. I gotta find this. No. There is so much you can find. There is so much your thinking mind can answer. So you don't wanna do that. You see, don't believe or disbelieve. Believe is something you know, whether you know from your experience or you do not know. You just believe, isn't it? Even though it is not the part of experience, you just believe. Somebody asked me what happens when we die. That is a common question. Every now and then I get that kind of question: what happens when we die? I said, so there is nothing that we can believe until unless we know it through our own experience, isn't it? I looked at this person and I said, one day you would find out, wouldn't you? Through your own experience, you would find out. And this person said, that's very true. I said, if I tell you something, you have two choices, whether you can believe it or you can disbelieve it. Either way, you are not getting any close to the truth, you see. So better remain open. This is pure wisdom. You see that I'm pouring out pure wisdom. Um, I would tell you a story. You like to hear stories, I'll tell you a story. So what happened is Gautama, Siddhartha, Gautama, Buddha, the enlightened, the one who is in the light and is God alike. I'm not saying Gautama Buddha is God. I'm saying Gautama Buddha is God alike. It's in the light. Gautama Buddha, Gautama Buddha one time in the morning was sitting with his disciples. You see, he was sitting with his disciples, and they were in a state, excuse me, they were in a state of meditation. And a man who was the devotee of Sri Krishna, a man who was the devotee of Sri Krishna, or Lord Krishna, you see, the avatar of Kahuna in human form was Lord Krishna. So this man was a devotee to Lord Krishna, and he came and he stood up under a tree nearby while they were in a state of meditation. And then Gautama, when he looked up to this guy was the devotee of Krishna, but he was now getting into a state where he was, in the final stages of his carnation, old person. And this person said, no, what I'm telling you is not written on the sky. I do not read scripts. I do not plan the words of truth and wisdom. It comes out of me through divine, through sacred. It's very simple. That's how I heal people who are in my close vicinity. I heal them too. In order to get the healing, you have to be in my close vicinity. And I can do that too. Anyway, so he was a devotee of Shri Krishna, and as soon as Gautama, the Buddha enlightened, looked at this man, this old person, a little bit of doubt was in him. And he looked at Buddha and he asked Buddha, is there a God? And Buddha looked at the man eye to eye along with his disciples, and he says, Buddha answered, no, that's it. And all the people were cheering that, hey, there is no big guy sitting over there now. We don't have to answer about our actions. You don't answer, and it's true. You don't answer anybody about your actions. You answer to yourself. It's very simple. So everybody cheered up, and everybody was very happy. And they said, wow, we don't really have to answer to anybody. Anyway, so they celebrated, they sang songs. Buddha remained as he was. And then in the evening time, when the night fell, or evening rather, the disciples gathered. Another man came, and he stood under the tree and he said, is there a God, Buddha? the enlightened, the Gautama. He asked Gautama, Buddha the enlightened, the second man. He stood under the same tree. I hope you get the picture. And he looked at Buddha and he said, Is there a God, Lord? And Buddha looked at him and Buddha said, Yes. And so people got really perplexed and confused and all that, human gets like that. They are so confused all the time. They barely know what they want and when they want it. Humans crack me up, but anyway, not for long, because it looks like my transition would be soon. So Buddha basically said yes. And then people got all confused and perplexed and asked Buddha, How is that in the morning you said there is no God? In the evening you say there is God. How's that? And Buddha looked all the disciples and to the man and he said, Did you get any clues to the truth if there is God? When I said no. They simply believed. Buddha said to these people, sorry, Buddha said to these people that you simply believed me. When I said, when this person, this fella asked me the question, the devotee of Ramakrishna, that is there a God? And I said, no, you simply believed me. Since you believed me, you didn't get any close to the truth. And in the evening, this other person under the same tree asked me the same question, and I said, yes, you still believed me. And the one who believed or the one who disbelieved among you, did they get any close to the truth? Either way, that's a brilliant answer to make humankind understand what they are doing. Gautama, Lord Buddha said, the one who believed and the one who disbelieved, either one, did they get any close to the truth? Truth is what you know through your own experience. Truth is what you perceive through your five senses. This moment is real. This is the truth. And you have faith in this moment, and it's effortless. Don't you see that? It's effortless. Are you putting any efforts in just to be? I'm asking you a question, are you putting any efforts just to be? No, it's effortless. Just by being, you are effortless. It's effortless. You are. Simple. So, truth is what you perceive personally. Others are rumors, point of views, poisons, and I wanted to bridge all this today because I wanted to make sure you understand the message. If you do not understand, I made it as simple. I I made it as simple as humanly possible. My words are very clear. Most of my listeners, most of my seers, most of my viewers have great comprehension of English. But English is just a language. There is nothing special about this language anyway. But I made it very clear for you to understand. But even if you are confused about the message, I have published my email address. You can inquire this, or you can inquire anything, or you can inquire even next few days, how am I doing? You see, you can ask. You would only ask, we all would only ask when we care about each other, isn't it? Anyway, so do not believe, do not disbelieve. Perceive truth. Truth is like a beast. Truth does not come in words. Truth does not come with words. Truth is like a beast. You let it loose. The beast, the nature of the beast, it would defend. It just knows how to defend itself. That's the nature of the beast. Truth is just like that. You let it loose. It needs no support. It doesn't come with the words. This moment is true. You cannot deny this moment, can you? No matter how hard you try, you cannot deny this moment. It's not possible for you. So have that kind of faith in yourself, but not in anyone else. You let the truth loose, it would defend itself. You don't have to do anything. Truth defends itself. Ah, Oh, keep meditating, keep meditating